I have to start today's video off by saying that nobody related to any politician's campaign or anything like that has paid me to make this video. This is simply me voicing my opinion and giving you guys information on a political race. Me doing this by myself. Tony Gonzalez is significantly threatened by Brandon Herrera. He stands a very strong chance of losing his job to Brandon in Texas 23. So much so that he has gone on the attack. And I think it speaks for itself, but when somebody finds themselves at home on CNN, I think that tells you all that you need to know. But recently, he called Brandon Herrera, well, you know what? We'll just let the man say it to you himself.
Bob Good endorsed my opponent, a known neo-Nazi. These people used to walk around with white hoods at night. Now they're walking around with white hoods in the daytime.
Tony Gonzalez. Oh boy, are we going to talk about Tony Gonzalez today. I'm going to fill you in on how not only has this dude turned his back on his constituents in Texas, but he has violated his constitutional oath to uphold and support the Constitution of the United States by infringing on the Second Amendment rights of American citizens. That more after we hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Excess Sights. I've been using Excess Sights for a long period of time, even before I couldn't see anymore. My eyes have gotten a little bit older, so the big dots are definitely on my list of things that are necessary equipment, but they make other sight profiles as well, like your standard notch and post sight, and typically, up to this point, they have been tritium sights with a photoluminescent ring around them that gives you a lit up sight regardless of the lighting conditions that you're operating in. But now they also offer high visibility fiber optic sights for those of you who want to take advantage of those for your target shooting. They also do everything from a drifter tool to top rails for lever actions, ensuring that regardless of your lighting conditions, XS makes the brightest sight in any light.
We continue our conversation now with Congressman Tony Gonzalez, a Republican who voted for the new bipartisan gun bill and represents the city of Uvalde, Texas.
They're talking about the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which is, oh yeah, the same one that this guy's talking about.
It does include actions I've long called for that are going to save lives. It funds crisis intervention, including red flag laws. It keeps guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and to others. And it finally closes what is known as the boyfriend loophole. So if you assault your boyfriend or girlfriend, you can't buy a gun or own a gun. It requires young people aged 18 to 21 to undergo enhanced background checks. It includes the first ever federal law that makes gun trafficking and straw purchases distinct federal crimes for the first time. It clarifies who needs to register as a federally licensed gun dealer and run background checks before selling a single weapon.
Refresh my memory, but I feel like we just recently heard about how the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act was used to do something. What was that? Oh yeah, this thing right over here. That whole thing that makes it a felony to sell your lawfully acquired personal property? Yeah, that thing. The engaged in the business as a dealer in firearms, making everyone who seeks to make any amount of money, not even make any money, just gain a little bit of some kind of barter edge by offering a firearm that maybe just didn't fit what they wanted to do, or maybe they got a new one. Yeah, can't do that anymore because of people like Tony Gonzalez. You either have principles or you don't. And it's clear that Tony doesn't have principles, especially because he misidentifies what principles look like as being a neo-Nazi, instead of having a fluid state of mind that, it means this today and that tomorrow and blah, 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 and would just whatever is politically expedient that helps him gain an edge in his mind to get reelected, to keep his job where he is so he can continue to do his insider trading bit and enrich himself. That's what it all comes down to. That's why they go. That's why they are there. And that's why they want to stay there so that they can become filthy wealthy. Tony Gonzalez is no different. And he sold his constituents up the river to gain what he perceived as a political edge to keep his job. Well, Brandon has challenged him for the express purpose of getting him out of office, ending his career. So recently, if you haven't been following, they had the primary election, and Brandon came in second, but nobody got the majority that is required to be the candidate in Texas. So they're doing a runoff in May. And if the anti-establishment voters went and cast a vote for Brandon, then he easily wins that thing. Now, I think it's going to be close, especially because Gonzalez has all of the establishment apparatus behind him. He's able to outraise, even given that Brandon has a prolific presence online. So if you feel so inclined, if you are not located in the state of Texas, then I would say that it is a good expenditure of a few extra bucks to try and get our boy into office, because we know for a fact, I know Brandon personally, and I know for a fact that that dude has principles. And I think that you all know from his interaction online that that is the truth. You can't fake that stuff, even though Melty here seems to think that you can. He's a disgrace, a constitutional traitor, and should be removed from office at your earliest convenience down there in Texas. Good luck to you, and let's go, Brandon.